NLB micro arm. It's sitting in the basic folded up operation right now, like you would transport it in the back of a truck or in a storage box. I'm going to show you how to turn it on, how to swing the boom around, and then we'll go into more detail on the controls. Turn it on, let the red light flash once, the green light will flash, and then bump it up again and wait until the green light is a steady blinking light. I fire the water control button on just so I can hear that it has synced. So once you've done that, then it's time to deploy your boom. And you would do that by coming over here, pulling your cylinder bolt, and then I need to raise my boom. Once I raise my boom, I then rotate my boom around, insert my pin, and I'm going to put the bolt here. You've got an emergency e-stop. Pushing it in will shut down the unit. Then you have your lights up here on the toggle switch. Your track system is right here on one joystick. All the switches are proportional, so you can barely push it and it'll go nice and slow. Your boom travel is done with one toggle, up and down, and again it is proportional, so you can barely move it if you want. Your nozzle up and down, and then your left to right on the boom. The unit will do a 45-degree arc off the front. You can do multiple movements at the same time, as you can see. Now, you can pull this pin and change it back to here and do that same 45-degree arc off of the side. One other thing I want to talk about a little bit is it has its own onboard air compressor, and that's the noise that you hear when you push the button, or that sound of the motor running, charging the air compressor. If you can walk up to the front, I want to show you this. Your bump guard is a piece of 3-inch pipe, easily to remove. You can make it longer. You can also extend this nipple to make it longer, or you can take this off and put a 0-degree nozzle right in here, or a fan nozzle right in there. So you have a very versatile machine. The unit's geared for 75 pounds of thrust, which basically at 40,000 psi, you would be changing this and the nozzle. At 40,000 psi, you can run about 7 gallons a minute. At 20,000 psi, with this valve and this nozzle, you could run about 14-15 gallons a minute. And at 10K, I believe it's about 12 gallons a minute. So very versatile unit. Your dump water does come out here. You can angle that down if you want. That's something to watch. That you want to make sure it stays tight. Front, you have the lights. And one other thing to note is the horn. Whenever the tracks are in motion, the horn is beeping. All the electrical on the unit is IP65 rated, meaning you can pressure wash it down. That doesn't mean get crazy on wires and things like that, but they are all watertight and sealed. The unit uses 4 marine type deep cycle batteries, and it has 2 onboard chargers back here in the back. You got a voltage meter, which is just telling you got voltage in there, and then this is your plug-in for 110 outlet. You can run it while it's plugged in if you care to. It'll charge both chargers at the same time. We'll charge all 4 batteries. The battery access point is the window in the front. You take the 4 bolts out, and the batteries are stored right in there. The maintenance on this whole track system is fairly simple. All the bearings are sealed bearings, and the only adjustment you have is the tension of the track. And if you notice, I want the tracks somewhat loose. You don't want them tight. If you have them too tight, you'll wear them out quickly. To adjust them, you undo these jam nuts on these 2 turnbuckles, and you actually spread that out a little bit, and that'll tension or loosen your track, and then re-jam your jam nuts. You've got that on each side. Our 4 lifting points, one located on each side of the unit, front and back. They're actually changing a little bit, but that's the location they're going to be in. All the rotary actuators are the same actuator. Gives us continuity of parts. They're very overrated for what they're doing. The unit's overall reach with that nozzle configuration is 8 foot 11 inches. So you've got a lot of reach to it. We made it so that it would not come all the way to the ground with the standard equipment. But again, you can put a longer nipple on that to get your nozzle right on the ground if you want. System valve is a cartridge valve. So you undo the one nut, pull your cartridge out, replace your cartridge, put it back in. Have zerk fittings on the boom for lubrication. Here in the front, here in the back. Those are your only real loop points on the unit. Everything else is sealed bearings. Okay, I'm going to show you how to remove the battery pack. There's a little thumb screw right here on the bottom. Just turn. You might have to use a coin or a screwdriver. Once you get that done, flick that out. Your battery pack snaps out. Here's your battery pack. And the front of the battery pack pulls off, and you have 3 AA batteries on the inside. They typically last about 60 hours, so you shouldn't go through them every day, but I would generally have some on site. You could put rechargeable batteries in there if you like. Put your batteries back in, push it back, take your battery pack, slide it in, put your lid back on, tighten your screw. This is for your remote cable. Should you not wish to run the wireless, you'll be able to plug in your cable to here and onto the machine, and you'll have a 40-foot cable that you can work your controller from for a customer that might be sensitive to wireless. When you're talking about the wireless, you have to keep in mind that these are dedicated on a dedicated frequency, and they also are blocking out incoming frequencies, so the chances of this turning something else on is pretty darn remote, and I think everybody's pretty much accepted that in the industry today. There's a series of lights. When you plug in your 110, you will see what your chargers are doing. You can't overcharge with these, but they will maintain the batteries, and those series of lights along here will tell you what status those batteries are at.